Hi, I'm Mark Montfort and welcome to ETF Tracker, the home of interactive analysis for Aussie ETFs. And today we're actually going to go through the app. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see just all the amazing things that we've been able to build up on the website and that you can get access to for free. So as you can see on the page here, we've got the ETF Tracker website. So that's etftracker.com.au. On the front page here, you can see the details about what's in the app. You can actually go directly to access the app. You can click on this to subscribe to updates. We have a newsletter that comes out each month. There's some other updates that come out during the month as well. On the front page here, we can see some details about why people should choose ETF Tracker. For example, there's interactive exploration of the data. There's some data-driven stories, and we get our data from trusted sources as well. So you can access all of that information there. So there's details about some frequently asked questions, people asking why it's free, can they trade through the app? All of those things are answered in the FAQ. The other sections of the app, we've got some ETF Tracker details. So what exactly is in the app? You get access to a dashboard, you've got some analytics, you've got single ETF views. And just back on the analytics, there's multiple areas of metrics that we measure and we make visual within the app. And then finally, there's some data stories as well. And then if we look at the apps, there's two types. There is the main ETF Tracker app. There's also a year in review app for 2020. So that was specifically made comparing 2020 performance and inflows and FUM and other measurements versus previous years. So specifically built for that. There's also a list of resources. So people have come to us to ask for where all the different types of interesting data sets are, as well as different apps. So if we take a look at, say, the data sets, we've got a bunch of them here. So we get our data from the ASX and Chi-X, and here's the pages where you can get that information. So you know what is trusted there. There's also Market Index, which is a great place for not just ETFs, but also for equities as well. And Yahoo Finance is also another great spot to get information. There's a lot of tutorials on how to get information out of Yahoo Finance other than just downloading them into Excel. There's ways that you can scrape them via Python, for example. And Quandl is also a great place to access some interesting resources overseas and for domestic equities and ETFs. And there's also a list of ETF apps. So out there's ETF Logic. They've got the Logically platform. There's Koifin, which is mostly focused on the US, but there is some Australian ETF information. There's ETFDB or ETF database that has a lot of good information there as well. And we've got ETF Tracker here. And so we can see the links to those apps that I mentioned before. Track Insight's a new one, so we've just added that. I just heard about that more recently. So that's also going quite well. And you can access all of these from this resources section. We've also got the blog as well, and in the blog we update that pretty regularly. So almost each week there is some new information going in there. So the latest blog was doing a bit of a deeper dive into what was going on in March 2021. So each month when there's new data coming out from the ASX, we'll initially put out a flash note, which is just a bunch of charts and tables just showing what's happened immediately, pretty much as soon as the data's come out. And in this one, when we do the deeper dive, we actually go into it in a little bit more detail. So if we just go back to the blog here, the market flash note was just quite a bit shorter. Okay, so you've got a couple of pages there, some key charts about inflows and performance and just where things were in terms of overall categories. So we can see performance here was mostly in the green. If we look at the previous month, it was a little bit different in February. We do some other types of articles. You can see the categories here. There's market updates, ETF education, and some details on app usage and some updates to the app as well. So we did something on active versus passive. We looked at ETF correlations. We looked at holdings. We look at quite a few different interesting things there. And then in the news is just some mentions of where we've been able to speak about things. So the last one being the February 2021 update. We'll add March here as well. I was on Equity Mates talking about ETFs as well, and all the previous AusBiz updates, the year in review, etc. In the About section, we go back to the FAQs that you saw on the front page, and there's some details as to how to contact us. And we've also got Twitter and Instagram where you can follow us along our ETF journey. And then we finally get to the ETF Tracker apps, and that'll be the subject for the next video. So thanks very much for your time.